This is a quick and basic demo on how I paint trees, and two methods I use to paint tree bark. I block in my trees with a mix of burnt sienna, blue, burnt umber, and sometimes a little red. I let it mix on the canvas rather than on the palette, so it's not one solid color. You end up with a more natural looking tree. The first step to adding bark and highlighting is to decide which direction your light is coming from. In this demo, mine's coming from the right. So the right sides of the trees will get the brighter highlights. My next step is to mix the first layer of bark color. It goes on in layers from darker to lighter. I used just a touch of the original dark tree color, added a little white and a touch of orange. You should end up with a tannish brown color, although you can use a different color if you prefer. The first tree bark method I'm doing uses a bristle brush and short little vertical strokes, starting at the very edge of the tree and working toward the center. You only go part way across, lightening the pressure of your stroke as you go, so the paint fades out towards the center. For the branch on the right, add some highlights on the bottom edge where it joins the tree, and go part way up on the underside. Then switch and do the top side of the outer branch. I made brighter highlights by adding white and a touch of orange to my bark color. For the left side branch, if you extend the highlighting towards the center of the tree, the branch will look like it's attached to the middle of the tree and will add dimension. If you make a mistake with the highlights, or just don't like how it looks, you can just paint over it with some of the dark trunk color and then redo them. For the back side of the tree that's in shadow, you can add what's called a reflected highlight. It's a mixture of blue, purple, and white, but not too bright and not too dark. This helps give your tree more roundness. The last step is to brighten your bark color with a bit more white paint, then add the final touches to your tree bark, keeping the brightest highlights to the outer edge. The second method for painting bark uses a flat, soft bristle brush that forms a nice chisel edge. You still mix the bark highlights the same way. I used a thin mixture of white, a touch of orange, and a touch of the dark trunk color to gray it down. You start by placing the flat edge of the brush on the outer edge of your tree and pulling across in short strokes, again lightening your pressure towards the center of the tree so it gradually fades out. Remember not to cover up all the dark background color. Let pockets of it show through to give your bark more texture. The branches are highlighted the same way they were in the first tree. Always keep in mind which direction your light is coming from. Brighten each new layer of bark by adding a little more white paint. You can keep building layers until you're satisfied with the results. Remember, mistakes can always be covered with more dark paint and then repainted. Keep the brightest highlights for the very outer edge of your tree. Switch to the bristle brush and add the reflective highlight to the back side of the tree using the mix of white, blue, and purple. That's the very quick and basic method I use for painting trees and tree bark. Hope it was helpful. Thanks for watching.